Good afternoon and welcome to the BBC News at 1. 7 Labour MPs have resigned from the party in protest at Jeremy Corbyn's approach to Brexit and anti-Semitism. They'll now sit in the Commons as a group of independents. One of the MPs, Luciana Burgess, said she was embarrassed and ashamed to stay in Labour, which she said now was institutionally anti-Semitic. Another, Chris Leslie, said that Labour had been hijacked by the far left. Jeremy Corbyn said he was disappointed by the MP's decision. Our political correspondent Jonathan Blake reports.
The time for talking was over. 7 Labour MPs chose this room on this morning to act. Frustrated with their party and its leader, the time had come for them to quit and form a new group.
This has been a very difficult, painful, but necessary decision. We represent different parts of the country. We are of different backgrounds. We were born of different generations, but we all share the same values. I cannot remain in a party that I have today come to the sickening conclusion is institutionally anti-Semitic.
All 7 gave their own reasons, and with that, damning criticism, reflecting anger that they and others have felt for some time.
British politics is now well and truly broken, and in all conscience, we can no longer knock on doors and support a government led by Jeremy Corbyn or the team around him.
This group of 7 hopes to grow. There was an appeal for others from other parties to join them.
You don't join a political party to spend years and years fighting the people within it. You get involved in politics, you join a party to change the world. So we invite you to leave your parties and help us forge a new consensus on a way forward for Britain.
But the group was clear this move was about him. Jeremy Corbyn's approach to Brexit, his failure as they see it to tackle anti-Semitism, and their unease at Labour's lurch to the left. In a statement, Mr Corbyn said, "I am disappointed that these MPs have felt unable to continue to work together for the Labour policies that inspired millions at the last election and saw us increase our vote by the largest share since 1945.
It comes at a time when our constituents are facing real hardship for universal credit being introduced. We've got rising crime, homelessness on a scale we've not seen for decades, and the government is bungling Brexit. So we should be working together for the long-term interests of the country.
It's hard to avoid comparisons to this moment. In 1981, a group of MPs left Labour and set up the Social Democratic Party, later merging to become what is now the Liberal Democrats. It hurt Labour then, and some say the same will happen now.
When people leave the Labour Party, there is bound to be damage. We had evidence of this in the early 1980s. It is not good if people leave a political party, but we have to stick to our principles and work for what we put forward in the manifesto.
History will judge them. There's no doubt that if they regard themselves as Democrats, I wonder whether they're going to stand down and create by-elections. A lot of them talked about how proud they are to represent their constituents. Well, if they're so proud of that, why don't they give their constituents the opportunity to see if they want them elected?
Party loyalty runs deep around here. It is no small move for any MP to disown their own side. And those who've left Labour today will know it's a gamble, because there may be others who want to help them and join them. But the move will galvanise Jeremy Corbyn's supporters and those against him within Labour who believe it's better to stay and fight from within. What this group will achieve, what it will become, is not clear. But these now former Labour MPs felt enough was enough, and they are better off out than in. Jonathan Blake, BBC News, Westminster.
Well, our assistant political editor Norman Smith is in Westminster for us. And Norman, put this in some context for us. How significant is it?
Well, it's significant, but you'd have to say the odds against these 7 MPs are enormous, because the history of smaller breakaway parties tends to be a pretty short-lived one. They go off like a rocket with a great big bang, but then tend to fizzle out and crash to earth. And that's not just the fate of the SDP, that's been the fate of pretty much every third party that have had their life crushed out of them because of our two-party system. And the two main parties have always proved remarkably resilient. Added to which, the 7 are starting with nothing. They have no name, no leader, no manifesto, no membership, no money, a website that seems to be crashing. They are starting really from ground zero, and they will have to endure the most awful kicking now from the Labour Party. They will be accused of disloyalty, of division, of making life easier for the Tories, and many Labour voters will share that view. Their only real chance of success, I think, is if they manage to strike a chord with the British population out with Westminster. If they manage to appeal to the politically homeless, those who feel disenfranchised by Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party and feel they have nothing in common with Theresa May's Brexiteers, those traditional Labour voters who share their view that the Labour Party has changed out of all recognition under Jeremy Corbyn. Secondly, they will have to move quickly. Today, in many ways, was the easy part, the press conference, the big announcement. Now they have to build, and very, very rapidly. And the risk, of course, is like sort of 7 stones being dropped into water. They just go plop and sink without trace. Their hope has to be that the ripples they create may yet cause a wave at Westminster.
Norman, many thanks. Norman Smith there at Westminster.
Walking out on their party and into the spotlight. The 7 splitters who between them have represented Labour for more than a century this morning declared they cannot stay in it for a second longer. Though old habits proved hard to break.
My name is Luciana Berger and I am the Labour and... I am the Member of Parliament for Liverpool Wavertree.
This newly formed independent group of MPs lived up to their name, not holding back on why they decided to quit.
I am leaving behind a culture of bullying, bigotry and intimidation. I cannot remain in a party that I have today come to the sickening conclusion is institutionally anti-Semitic.
Any criticism of the leadership is responded to with abuse and accusations of treachery.
I'm furious that the Labour leadership is complicit in facilitating Brexit, which will cause great economic, social and political damage to our country.
For now, the 7, which include Chuka Umunna, Chris Leslie, Angela Smith and Gavin Shuker, are not launching a political party. But there were historical echoes here. 38 years after the Gang of Four, a group of self-styled moderate Labour MPs, quit over the leadership of its left-wing leader to set up the SDP. Today, they insisted this breakaway is different and urged others to jump ship.
You might come from a Labour background, but you might come from other political traditions. We invite you to leave your parties and help us forge a new consensus on a way forward for Britain.
Good morning, how nice to see you.
In a statement, Jeremy Corbyn said he's disappointed by their decision to leave, but his shadow chancellor says the group should quit as MPs and stand against new Labour candidates.
But all of these MPs stood on our manifesto in 2017, Jeremy Corbyn's manifesto. They all increased their majorities. Now they're on a different platform. So the honourable thing, the usual thing for them to do now is to stand down and fight by-elections back in their constituencies.
But that is not going to happen. They are standing firm. Their hope now that more of their colleagues will soon step forward. Daniel Hewitt, ITV News, Westminster.
Well, let's cross now to our political correspondent Paul Brand. Paul, 7 MPs. Realistically, what difference will that make to politics?
Well, Lucrezia, now the secret 7 have revealed themselves after much whispering in Westminster. The question, as Daniel said there, is how many are going to join them. I put to them this morning that 7 MPs is a nice number for a dinner party, but not necessarily a significant political party. They said they are hopeful that others from across the political divide will join them. But the question is, we know what they stand against. What do they stand for? They say they're not a political party, that they may evolve into one. Looking at what they are standing on today, it seems as if they are some kind of centrist group, not dissimilar from Tony Blair's New Labour. The problem with that is many are unconvinced the politics of the past is the key to success in the future, particularly when today's politics, many argue, is in reaction to that era. People were fed up with that kind of politics. There are other questions too. Who's going to lead them? who is going to fund them. History suggests that breakthrough parties are doomed to failure. This one does threaten one's success. Jeremy Corbyn will be worried that they may well keep him out of government.
All right, interesting times. Paul, thank you.